So, many of you may know that I, not so very long ago, bought a bit of a wreck of a house in rural Ireland, and it needs a lot of work doing to it. It's habitable, it's not a tumble down ruin, but it needs a lot of work doing to it. And that's not my natural forte. I've never been a DIY type of person. It's a big challenge to me, more so because actually I was actively shamed by my father because I was incompetent at DIY. Not saying my father was a bad person. He just got very frustrated with me, shouted at me because, I wasn't my brother who was very good at this stuff. Is still very good at this stuff. Um, and so I spent the whole of my life feeling that I'm crap at anything to do with DIY, and now I have to do a lot of it because I have a house that needs it, and it's remote. We can't find people to come and work on the house, and we couldn't afford to pay them to do all the jobs that need doing anyway, so I have to do them. Okay, so far, so potentially stressful, but it's okay. I do jobs, and they're a bit botchy, but I do them. The bookshelves I put up, the books haven't fallen off them yet. It doesn't look as neat as it might, but the books haven't fallen off yet. And there's some big things like finding a way to be able to cook and heat the house. Autumn's arrived. Suddenly, it's cold. Suddenly, we don't have a heating system in the house that works. Big questions. Oil range that also heats the hot water. Solid fuel stove to heat the radiators, infrared heating, there's a possibility. What's the balance between affordability, between finding people who can actually come and do the installation, sustainability, a mix of fuels so that we're not all trapped into oil, which is what everyone around here uses. It's the sort of default fuel. Big questions, and again, so far so stressful. But I can say to myself, look, it's a complicated equation. I've got to keep working through until I find a way through. Stressful but manageable. But we achieved something. We found a sofa that we liked and bought it a week ago. And last night discovered that the door to the living room, and in fact the door to the house, is not wide enough to get the sofa in. That wasn't a complicated problem. That was a simple thing that I screwed up. Simple as that. That was just plain stupidity. They even asked in the shop, "Will it fit through the door?" And I went, "Oh, yeah. It's an ordinary sized door. Of course it will." Just stupidity. And I've got a lot on my mind, easy mistake to make. All of that stuff doesn't matter a damn. Because at that point, that relatively small thing is the break in the dam that unleashes all the stress, all the low self-loathing, all the anxiety, all the sense of, yes, my dad was right 50 years ago, 40 years ago. I am incompetent. Yes, I'm not able to do this. No, I can't cope. And that turns into, I'm not a good enough person. I'm a failed human being. Everyone else can manage to get a sodding sofa into their living room, but I can't. And so all the big things that I've been managing, piling one on top of the other, one small thing unhinges the whole lot, and the pile collapses on top of me. And old anxieties that I've spent my lifetime attempting to overcome, all those anxieties, there they are, bubbling up again. All the self-doubt, all the self-loathing, all bubbling up again. One of the reasons I'm good at guiding people and helping people through times of stress and anxiety and navigating change is because I've had to do that to myself repeatedly, constantly for over half a century. And you know what? I still have to do it. It doesn't go away. Facebook memes that say, just change your mindset and everything will be perfect. They're bullshit. They are dangerous bullshit. Work on the self is lifelong work. Today, I am overwhelmed by anxiety. I know that anxiety can lead me to make bad choices, or I can observe that anxiety and make better choices. I've learned enough from life to be able to observe my anxiety and make better choices. Because I have observed my anxiety over years, I am good at guiding other people to observe their stress or anxiety or self-destructive thinking processes. I can't make them go away any more than I can make myself eternally, gloriously happy, although I'm a lot happier than I used to be. What are my 3 tools? Well, they're the ones most at the top of my head at the moment, because this is a program that I'm currently filling up with people. I'm going to pay attention to my purpose. I am in this house to be able to build a home for myself after decades of feeling I had no real home. I'm going to build a home in a place, a landscape where I want to live as part of a community I want to be part of. That is my purpose. I'm going to become present. Realize that the anxiety is not me. The self-destructive thoughts are not me. They are part of me, but they are not me. I will allow my body to give away the stress. I relax my shoulders and I'll smile even if I don't feel like it. And I'm going to look for my pleasure. I'm going to look for that thing that in the middle of this day that feels already too damn hard, and it's only 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to look for the thing that makes me go, yes, I'm going to solve this. It might be short-term pleasure, me going, yes, I've worked something out. It might be long-term pleasure, saying if I can get through this crap, one day soon I will be sitting in a nice warm kitchen cooking lovely food, and I will know that I did that. Short-term pleasure, long-term pleasure, problem-solving pleasure, doesn't matter. I will seek my pleasure rather than give up and sink into self-loathing and misery. That's my commitment to myself. That the tools I have the arrogance to seek to share with others, purpose, presence, and pleasure, I will use on myself when I too come up against the difficulties that life simply throws at us. Now, I've got to work out what to do with the sofa, and I've got to get this damn house warm enough to live in. And before I can do any of that, I've got to convince myself that I'm capable of doing those things. Purpose, presence, pleasure. If you want to apply for the small group program I'm running starting in about 10 days, be in touch. Send me your warmest thoughts.